Hello. I got cut off. But so, this is the field trip that I wanted to share with everybody. The capital of Louisiana State Museum.
So our past gives shape to our present. Moment by moment, person by person,
Wait out.
drop by drop.
Up the lazy river, where the old mill run. Up the lazy river, the noonday sun. Laying shade, avocado tree. Go away, troubles, dream of me, dream of me. Up the lazy river, where the robin song.
This is the history of Louisiana. Louisiana Purchase.
On December 20th, 1803, in New Orleans, a formal ceremony took place in front of the pavilion that would transform the destinies of nations. 3 men who had been signing documents inside came out to watch as the French flag was lowered and the United States flag raised. They were witnessing one of the biggest property transfers in history. Pierre Clément de la Salle, the French commissioner, was overseeing the end of France's empire-building plans in North America. As he wrote in his memoirs, more than one tear was shed at the moment when the flag disappeared from that shore. We withdrew, passing before the entire line of Anglo-American troops, present arms, and officers.
It's a messy history, but this is the history of Louisiana. A lot of history. A lot of
British General Sir Edward Michael Paget is in charge of the attack. Over 10,000 troops begin converging on Louisiana. Most of them are...
a lot of information to take in.
American Major General Andrew Jackson commands only 1,500 soldiers and is in charge of defending New Orleans. When Jackson arrives in the city, he mobilizes more men, gathering French Creoles, free men of color, Choctaw Indians, volunteers from Tennessee and Kentucky, and even Jean Lafitte's band of pirates. December 14th. The British vessels reach the coast. They are too large.
This is my favorite place. Not this particular one, but museums are my heaven on earth. This is love this stuff. Some great information, always. Best information are at museums. And everything that I want to learn in my life, I've seen and learned. Every state that I've been in, everywhere I travel, I always look for the museums, a museum to go to. So my favorite pastime of all times, they have a Louis Armstrong exhibit. The main Louis Armstrong exhibit is actually in New Orleans City Park. For anyone that wants to visit, it's a good one. It's a great exhibit of Louis Armstrong. Looks like this.
Acting as America's goodwill ambassador to the whole world. I couldn't mean anybody else but the man with the golden trumpet, Louis Armstrong. Right?
He was an American original who transcended barriers of race, class, and nationality. As Armstrong once told in an interview, a note's a note in any language. By the 1920s, Armstrong had already made the groundbreaking recordings that would solidify his reputation as one of America's most important musical innovators. He first performed overseas in 1932. In the next 3 decades, he would bring his singular talent to cities all over the world.
Yeah, I've seen this main exhibit, like I said, in the New Orleans City Park Museum of Louis Armstrong. Has a great exhibit of his. Louis P. Long has several bridges, a couple bridges named after him in New Orleans. To get across the river, we take the Huey P. Long Bridge.
Finally, somebody got around and said there is any difference in these medicines. So he said considerable. They're both good, but they're different. He said that high popalorum is made from the bark off the tree that we take from the top down. And that low papaharum is made from the bark that we take from the root up. And the only difference that I found between the Democratic leadership and the Republican leadership was that one of them was skinny from the ankle up and the other one from the ear down when I got to Congress.
This is my favorite pastime.
My opinion is the south end of northbound horse.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my best husband, all the girls that like him. Anyone saying anything against him is an old man.
Roosevelt. Huey's assassination.
Who ransacked this state for the element of their allies are being told what they can do and what they can't do, what they will pay, what they can't keep on paying for the welfare of the people of Louisiana. 75, 80 to 85% of the people not only give up their property year after year, but they fall further and further and further into economic slavery.
This is what Louisiana natural resource, seafood. So you can still to this day go to the docks and purchase seafood right off the docks. This is a shrimp boat. And they pull into the dock. Their barrels are full of shrimp and get them real cheap. Shrimp real cheap here. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Can't get it no fresher. They're still alive. Moving along, we do know that Louisiana's history involves slavery. Unfortunately, there was a place to go purchase slaves. This address, 156 College Street, New Orleans. Unfortunately, this does show some of the history of that.
Blacks going down in the South End where we were forced to stand up on empty seats. They could put their bags, their bundles in the seat, but they couldn't put their bodies. I thought that was ridiculous.
It was always criticized about the first time. How they treated minorities. So there was a lot of problems on the front.
And while black and white bus riders paid the same fare, black riders were treated rudely and required to crowd into the back of the bus, even when there were no white passengers. Across the South, beginning in the 1880s.
My mom has stories of this segregation that she shared with us. My father marched as a black man during segregation, and my mother was getting to buildings that he wasn't able to because she's French, blonde, and fair, and she has stories of her and my father being separated and on the same bus and in the same building.
The story became a staple of the American stage and of early film.
Harriet Beecher Stowe's immortal novel comes vividly alive on the screen, bringing sharply into focus some of the most brilliant characters in all of literature.
From its first publication in 1852, Uncle Tom's Cabin has never been out of print. It has been translated into over 60 languages, and it is still taught in classrooms throughout the country.
Again, another huge natural resource, Louisiana. Of course, agriculture, sugarcane. There's still fields, many fields. Still on the country roads we go for rides, and of course fishing is huge here. We're surrounded by Gulf of Mexico. And hunting. Hunting is a huge part of Louisiana landscape. Fishing and hunting. A lot of our history has to do with living off the land. And it's been a resource. It's been a main resource because of this. It's also a history of poverty because of all the setbacks Louisiana had to endure due to storms, hurricanes, and bad weather. Put us back economically in a lot of ways. So we endured a lot. This is quintessential river steamboat, form of transportation through waters.
The United States finally gained control
Louisiana, and you can read the many strands of our history in our names and our faces, the ways we celebrate and make a living, our homes, buildings, and communities. Lives on. Like our rivers, it winds through our lives and connects us to the land and to each other. And just as waterways collect and deposit the soil we depend upon, so our past gives shape to our present. Moment by moment, person by person.
I'm going to take the elevator up. The stairs are kind of steep. This is the culture. That was the history floor. History of floor. This is the floor of culture. You could already hear the music as soon as you walk in, because that's a huge part of Louisiana culture. Music, jazz, zydeco. LSU. Probably, let's see where the sign is. I live right behind that sign. Right behind that sign. Capitol. LSU Tigers. Go Tigers. Southern is also in Baton Rouge. But their stadium is not even half the size of the Tiger Stadium. Yeah, dream on. Just saying. Oh, hot sauce is very important here. A million bottles of hot sauce. art.
Leroy don't like mine. You know that.
Oh, now just made the worst thing again.
Oh, and I guess you do.
Get over it out of shape. I was just teasing. Besides, it's just a
Maybe the children and the kids all like this. Make the fifth one say bingo.
Now the food is a huge part of our culture. Everybody's raised on red beans and rice and Louisiana hot sausage and cornbread. Raised on it. Look who's in the museum. I'll be darned. My mom's favorite girl. I'm gonna have to tell her that. Leah Chase. Been to that restaurant many times, and my mom wouldn't see it any other way. We had to go to Leah Chase restaurant. This is uptown. Probably the most historic building in Louisiana. Then, of course, we have the cemeteries that are exposed. They're not in the ground because New Orleans, is already below sea level. There's a culture out here, All Saints Day, where everybody goes to their family's grave and clean it up and put flowers and make sure it's kept up and presentable. And this is mausoleum style graveyards that my grandmother's in. And actually, her graveyard is incidentally I think it's 2 spaces away from Marie Laveau, what they call the Voodoo Queen. Incidentally, it's a true story. My grandmother's grave is by Marie Laveau.
To be Cajun, you have to have roots in Nova Scotia or Acadia. Yeah. And your people are saying you've been exiled by the British in the 1750s.
Okay, so this is the controversial exhibit specifically about Creoles. There you have it, the definition. So everybody could just stop arguing about what it means to be a Creole. Mix African with Europe. And Portuguese is Latin or Spanish. So there you have it. Definition.
I do not think myself as black or African American.
My granddaughter identifies as Creole, and so does my son. It is my culture, it is my way of life, it is my religion.
It's too bad that Anglos think in terms of national origin and race. That's their problem. It never was a problem for us out here.
See, he was just explaining that people have different definitions of being a Creole.
I am a New Orleans Creole. I was born and raised in the city of New Orleans.
I am a New Orleans Creole.
I'm a Creole from Vacherie. Je suis Creole. I'm a Creole.
A Creole ancestry. I'm from St. Helena Parish, Louisiana.
Moi, c'est Creole.
This, what you're looking at, is Creole.
Creole became a term to distinguish native-born as opposed to foreign-born, Europeans, Africans, and to distinguish people who are exclusively Native American.
To be Creole, back in the 1800s, you were a native thereof. You were born to the New World. You were born in the Louisiana territory.
It's the blending, for me,
My grandmother
of all the people who were here
1899, born in Louisiana.
The Europeans, the West Africans, and believe it or not, there's an influence, I think, from the Native Indians.
This ancestry
1899, not 18, a year before 1900. She was born in Louisiana, of European
and other
descent.
Caucasian Europeans.
I think the term Creole is controversial today because it seems to be something a lot of people want to be to the exclusion of other people. When people come in now and they say, well, you thought you had to be Spanish, or you had to be French to be Creole, or you had to be African to be Creole. I say no.
All three.
Does someone have to have French or Spanish to be Creole? I would say yes.
It's all three.
At least those, and then they could have others.
You do not have to have a French or Spanish ancestor to be Creole, but you can have a French or Spanish ancestor to be Creole. In other words, you have descendants of African slaves who have no French or African ancestor, but they were also native born. They spoke the Creole language and probably French as well, so that makes them Creole as well.
In the beginning, to be Creole, you just lived within the context of the culture. You could be purple and from Mars and be Creole as long as you spoke French, you were Catholic, and you lived within the context of the culture. But Americanization has really imposed upon Louisiana this idea of race and division by race and not identification by the culture.
That's the problem with labels. But, whatever the label, regardless.
Cajun is a Creole word for someone from Acadia.
Creole. Louisiana Creole.
Acadian, Creole, Acadian. You take off the A and you get
3 generations born, 1800s. Oh, also, Another natural resource, actually, unbelievable amount of oil in Louisiana. Even on our land, there was, and people that have owned land that found oil is actually recipients of that actually do receive. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, so they are to this day financial recipients of the oil that's on their land in the state of Louisiana. Of course, another history of Louisiana is entertainment. It's the main city in 1800s for all kinds of entertainment, let's put it that way. Legal and illegal. Again, food is huge. Natural resources. People live off the land, their own land. They just throw nets in their own ponds and get crawfish or shrimp and fish. They eat turtle soup out here. I had to pass. I mean, I tasted it, but yeah, I make that a regular part of my diet. My grandmother spoke broken French. My mother learned a lot of words. I wouldn't say she was entirely fluent, but I've heard it all my life. So. This is what they refer to the swamp. Acadian culture. People that lived in a swamp, basically. Made a living out there. They ate alligator soup. They spoke French. One consider themselves Creole, they consider themselves Cajun. And that's the only difference that I ever thought was important. To distinguish in the New Orleans culture. gonna hear that they're either Creole or Cajun. Then there were the natives. They don't give them huge acknowledgement in the state of Louisiana, but they were here for the Europeans. Right? Amongst the Arcadians, there's gonna be Zydeco music. Creole culture, you're gonna hear jazz. Yeah. Of course, you should come to Mardi Gras. It's something to see. It's something to see. It can be fun and it can be dangerous. I always warn people, you know, have fun but be safe. A lot of food.
I imported that just for Mardi Gras. Is that pretty or what? Huh? I'm not naked, baby. It's just a bra. It's like a baby. So y'all come down to Mardi Gras next year. Y'all gonna get dressed up?
You see the attitude. Yeah. Basic attitude of everybody that comes to Mardi Gras. Everybody thinks that New Orleans is the only place that celebrates Mardi Gras in New Orleans, but actually there are other North Louisiana celebrate Mardi Gras, and you know, of course, New Orleans is just the main area for the celebration. Everybody, costumes.
This is the halfway stop point in Eunice, Louisiana. I want to let you know that we got some pork ribs, we got some sausage, and some chicken going. It don't get no more Louisiana than this.
Hey, boy, that is good.
It is a one-of-a-kind pig you can't find nowhere else in Louisiana.
Question a lot of these costumes. I prefer a mask. I like the whole incognito.
I imported that just for Mardi Gras. Is that pretty or what? Huh? I'm not naked, baby. It's just a bra. It's like a baby. So y'all come down to Mardi Gras next year. Y'all gonna get dressed up?
Yeah, that's the attitude. Everybody eats. We would often go on the lakefront with seafood boil. We have shrimp and crab and crawfish on the lake, and This guy made it in New Orleans. He had several restaurants. K. Paul's. I don't think I've been to K. Paul's, but I've been to some other restaurant. Yeah, it's in the French Quarter. Can't think of it right now. I'm not big on alligator meat. Of course, I was forced to eat all this stuff. But sometimes it wasn't by choice. They had to tell me everything was chicken, and then maybe I'll be forced to eat. Radical music. Well, I was looking, but my dad's been telling us all of our life, and his brother, my uncle, told us that Leonard Bechet, the famous saxophone, here he is, Sidney Bechet, bam. That my dad says this guy is his father's cousin. Yes, saxophone. Oh, clarinet. Yeah, he lived in France. Yep, there he is. That's what my dad said is his father's cousin, Sidney Bechet. And his son is Leonard Bechet, is his second cousin, and we would always see him over my dad's house. So there you have it. They have an exhibit on Little Richie. Cool. I love it. Okay. Louisiana country music. Not my favorite. But I did get into some Zydeco music, history there. So I would listen. We would definitely listen there. See, this is just, they play this during Mardi Gras. I think that Jimmy mentioned, I think that's I Love the River, something like that. I understand better than I speak, but this means, I think it means that I love the river. There you go. Hey, love that. Okay, so that's the music part of see who else is here. Maggie Lewis Warwick. Oh, Tim McGraw was born in Louisiana, yeah. Okay. That was the Mardi Gras exhibit. So, y'all. Oh, this is the Mardi Gras exhibit. Oh, this is supposed to be a parade. That's cute. Child's parade. Oh, this is the Mardi Gras exhibit. Go way back. Mardi Gras is very historical. I think it's 17. Where's the sign? Let's see. That doesn't say. Let's see when Mardi Gras was originally formed. Oh, this is a tribute to Native Americans during Mardi Gras. And this looks exactly like the suit my grandmother had. Her father was a Native Indian. But my mother was French. And her father was Native Indian. True story. Okay, so this is how usually typical parade float looks. We'd hang over these things to catch bees, put our feet there and scream, "Show me something, mister." And the queen of the ball was really more elaborate back in the day, king and queen. Basically, that's how it is. Okay, this might say the year, the evolution. This says 1920. It goes back further than that. Oh wait, what is this? This is a float, so let's go see about this. Guess they have it turned on. Oh, they have it turned on. Oh well, that would have been cool. Just show how it feels to be on a float. Okay. Exiting. Well, we've been here for a couple hours, y'all, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I just, I had to come. I go to every museum that I can go to, everywhere I travel, and so this was good. Close it out with the Mardi Gras scene. Zulu. Scary looking, huh? Les beaux temps brûlés. Okay, that was it. More? Les hommes bon temps through there. Okay, we saw it. Alright, that's it, y'all. We're at the end of the exhibit. That was our field trip. I hope y'all have fun. Have a great day, everybody.